Book of Leviticus, chapter 1. And Jehovah called unto Moses, and spake unto him out of the tent of meeting, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man of you offereth an oblation unto Jehovah, ye shall offer your oblation of the cattle, even of the herd and of the flock. If his oblation be a burnt offering of the herd, he shall offer it a male without blemish. He shall offer it at the door of the tent of meeting, that he may be accepted before Jehovah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before Jehovah. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall present the blood, and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is at the door of the tent of meeting. And he shall flay the burnt offering, and cut it into its pieces. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar, and lay wood in order upon the fire. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall lay the pieces, the head, and the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. But its inwards and its legs shall he wash with water. And the priest shall burn the whole on the altar, for a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And if his oblation be of the flock, of the sheep, or of the goats, for a burnt offering, he shall offer it a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward before Jehovah. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle its blood upon the altar round about, and he shall cut it into its pieces, with its head and its fat. And the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. But the inwards and the legs shall he wash with water, and the priest shall offer the whole and burn it upon the altar. It is a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And if his oblation to Jehovah be a burnt offering of birds, then he shall offer his oblation of turtle doves, or of young pigeons. And the priest shall bring it unto the altar, and wring off its head, and burn it on the altar, and the blood thereof shall be drained out on the side of the altar. And he shall take away its crop with the filth thereof, and cast it beside the altar on the east part, in the place of the ashes. And he shall rend it by the wings thereof, but shall not divide it asunder. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar, upon the wood that is upon the fire. It is a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Jehovah. Book of Leviticus, chapter 2. And when anyone offereth an oblation of a meal offering unto Jehovah, his oblation shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon. And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests. And he shall take thereout his handful of the fine flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. And the priest shall burn it, as the memorial thereof upon the altar, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And that which is left of the meal offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of Jehovah made by fire. And when thou offerest an oblation of a meal offering baken in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. And if thy oblation be a meal offering of the baking pan, it shall be of fine flour unleavened, mingled with oil. Thou shalt part it in pieces, and pour oil thereon. It is a meal offering. And if thy oblation be a meal offering of the frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And thou shalt bring the meal offering that is made of these things unto Jehovah, and it shall be presented unto the priest, and he shall bring it unto the altar. And the priest shall take up from the meal offering the memorial thereof, and shall burn it upon the altar, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And that which is left of the meal offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of Jehovah made by fire. No meal offering, which ye shall offer unto Jehovah, shall be made with leaven. For ye shall burn no leaven, nor any honey, as an offering made by fire unto Jehovah, as an oblation of first fruits, ye shall offer them unto Jehovah, but they shall not come up for a sweet savor on the altar. And every oblation of thy meal offering shalt thou season with salt. Neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from thy meal offering. With all thine oblations thou shalt offer salt. And if thou offer a meal offering of first fruits unto Jehovah, thou shalt offer for the meal offering of thy first fruits grain in the ear parched with fire, bruised grain of the fresh ear. And thou shalt put oil upon it, and lay frankincense thereon. It is a meal offering. And the priest shall burn the memorial of it, part of the bruised grain thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. It is an offering made by fire unto Jehovah. Book of Leviticus, chapter 3. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offerings, if he offer of the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before Jehovah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his oblation, and kill it at the door of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of peace offerings an offering made by fire unto Jehovah. The fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the caul upon the liver, with the kidneys, shall he take away. And Aaron's sons shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt offering, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And if his oblation for a sacrifice of peace offerings unto Jehovah be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offer a lamb for his oblation, then shall he offer it before Jehovah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his oblation, and kill it before the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of peace offerings an offering made by fire unto Jehovah. The fat thereof, the fat tail entire, he shall take away hard by the backbone, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the loins, and the caul upon the liver, with the kidneys shall he take away. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto Jehovah. And if his oblation be a goat, then he shall offer it before Jehovah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of it, and kill it before the tent of meeting. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about. And he shall offer thereof his oblation, even an offering made by fire unto Jehovah. The fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the loins, and the caul upon the liver, with the kidneys, shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire, for a sweet savor. All the fat is Jehovah's. It shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations in all your dwellings, that ye shall eat neither fat nor blood. Book of Leviticus, chapter 4. And Jehovah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If anyone shall sin unwittingly in any of the things which Jehovah hath commanded not to be done, and shall do any one of them, if the anointed priest shall sin so as to bring guilt on the people, then let him offer for his sin, which he hath sinned, a young bullock without blemish unto Jehovah, for a sign offering. And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tent of meeting before Jehovah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the bullock, and kill the bullock before Jehovah. And the anointed priest shall take of the blood of the bullock, and bring it to the tent of meeting. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before Jehovah, before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put of the blood upon the horns of the altar of sweet incense before Jehovah, which is in the tent of meeting, and all the blood of the bullock shall he pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. And all the fat of the bullock of the sign offering he shall take off from it, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the loins, and the caul upon the liver, with the kidneys, shall he take away, as it is taken off from the ox of the sacrifice of peace offering. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar of burnt offering. And the skin of the bullock, and all its flesh, with its head, and with its legs, and its inwards, and its dung, even the whole bullock shall he carry forth without the camp unto a clean place, where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out shall it be burnt. And if the whole congregation of Israel are, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done any of the things which Jehovah hath commanded not to be done, and are guilty, when the sin wherein they have sinned is known, then the assembly shall offer a young bullock for a sin offering, and bring it before the tent of meeting. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands upon the head of the bullock before Jehovah. And the bullock shall be killed before Jehovah. And the anointed priest shall bring of the blood of the bullock to the tent of meeting. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before Jehovah before the veil. And he shall put of the blood upon the horns of the altar which is before Jehovah, that is in the tent of meeting. And all the blood shall he pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. And all the fat thereof shall he take off from it, and burn it upon the altar. Thus shall he do with the bullock, as he did with the bullock of the sign offering, so shall he do with this. And the priest shall make atonement for them, and they shall be forgiven. And he shall carry forth the bullock without the camp, and burn it as he burned the first bullock. It is the sign offering for the assembly. When a ruler sinneth, and doeth unwittingly any one of all the things which Jehovah his God hath commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin, wherein he hath sinned, be made known to him, he shall bring for his oblation a goat, a male without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the goat, and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offering before Jehovah. It is a sign offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering. And the blood thereof shall he pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering. And all the fat thereof shall he burn upon the altar, as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall make atonement for him as concerning his sin, and he shall be forgiven. And if any one of the common people sign unwittingly in doing any of the things which Jehovah hath commanded not to be done, and be guilty, if his sin, which he hath sinned, be made known to him, then he shall bring for his oblation a goat, a female without blemish, for his sin which he hath sinned. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sign offering, and kill the sign offering in the place of burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood thereof with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering. And all the blood thereof shall he pour out at the base of the altar. And all the fat thereof shall he take away, as the fat is taken away from off the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And the priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be forgiven. And if he bring a lamb as his oblation for a sign offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sign offering, and kill it for a sign offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sign offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and all the blood thereof shall he pour out at the base of the altar. And all the fat thereof shall he take away, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them on the altar, upon the offerings of Jehovah made by fire. And the priest shall make atonement for him as touching his sin, that he hath sinned, and he shall be forgiven. Book of Leviticus, chapter 5. And if anyone sin in that he heareth the voice of adjuration, he being a witness, whether he hath seen or known, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. Or if anyone touch any unclean thing, whether it be the carcass of an unclean beast, or the carcass of unclean cattle, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and it be hidden from him, and he be unclean, then he shall be guilty. Or if he touch the uncleanness of man, whatsoever his uncleanness be wherewith he is unclean, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty. Or if anyone swear rashly with his lips to do evil, or to do good, whatsoever it be that a man shall utter rashly with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty in one of these things. And it shall be, when he shall be guilty in one of these things, that he shall confess that wherein he hath sinned, and he shall bring his trespass offering unto Jehovah for his sin which he hath sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a goat for a sign offering, and the priest shall make atonement for him as concerning his sin. And if his means suffice not for a lamb, then he shall bring his trespass offering for that wherein he hath sinned, 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, unto Jehovah, one for a sign offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And he shall bring them unto the priest, who shall offer that which is for the sign offering first, and wring off its head from its neck, but shall not divide it asunder. And he shall sprinkle of the blood of the sign offering upon the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be drained out at the base of the altar. It is a sign offering. And he shall offer the second for a burnt offering, according to the ordinance. And the priest shall make atonement for him as concerning his sin which he hath sinned, and he shall be forgiven. But if his means suffice not for 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he shall bring his oblation for that wherein he hath sinned. The 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a sign offering. He shall put no oil upon it, neither shall he put any frankincense thereon, for it is a sign offering. And he shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it as the memorial thereof, and burn it on the altar upon the offerings of Jehovah made by fire. It is a sign offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him as touching his sin that he hath sinned, and he hath sinned in any of these things. And he shall be forgiven, and the remnant shall be the priest's as the meal offering. And Jehovah spake unto Moses, saying, If anyone commit a trespass, and sin unwittingly in the holy things of Jehovah, then he shall bring his trespass offering unto Jehovah, a ram without blemish out of the flock, according to thy estimation in silver by shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering. And he shall make restitution for that which he hath done amiss in the holy thing, and shall add the 5th part thereto, and give it unto the priest. And the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and he shall be forgiven. And if anyone sin, and do any of the things which Jehovah hath commanded not to be done, though he knew it not, yet is he guilty, and shall bear his iniquity. And he shall bring a ram without blemish out of the flock, according to thy estimation, for a trespass offering unto the priest. And the priest shall make atonement for him concerning the thing wherein he erred unwittingly and knew it not, and he shall be forgiven. It is a trespass offering. He is certainly guilty before Jehovah. Book of Leviticus, chapter 6. And Jehovah spake unto Moses, saying, If anyone sin and commit a trespass against Jehovah, and deal falsely with his neighbor in a matter of deposit, or of bargain, or of robbery, or have oppressed his neighbor, or have found that which was lost, and deal falsely therein, and swear to a lie, in any of all these things that a man doeth, sinning therein. Then it shall be, if he hath sinned and is guilty, that he shall restore that which he took by robbery, or the thing which he hath gotten by oppression, or the deposit which was committed to him, or the lost thing which he found, or anything about which he hath sworn falsely. He shall even restore it in full, and shall add the 5th part more thereto. Unto him to whom it appertaineth shall he give it, in the day of his being found guilty. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto Jehovah, a ram without blemish out of a flock, according to thy estimation, for a trespass offering unto the priest. And the priest shall make atonement for him before Jehovah, and he shall be forgiven concerning whatsoever he doeth, so as to be guilty thereby. And Jehovah spake unto Moses, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the law of the burnt offering. The burnt offering shall be on the hearth upon the altar all night unto the morning. And the fire of the altar shall be kept burning thereon. And his linen breeches shall he put upon his flesh, and he shall take up the ashes, whereto the fire hath consumed the burnt offering on the altar. And he shall put them beside the altar, and he shall put off his garments, and put on other garments, and carry forth the ashes without the camp unto a clean place. And the fire upon the altar shall be kept burning thereon. It shall not go out, and the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and he shall lay the burnt offering in order upon it, and shall burn thereon the fat of the peace offerings. Fire shall be kept burning upon the altar continually. It shall not go out. And this is the law of the meal offering. The sons of Aaron shall offer it before Jehovah, before the altar, and he shall take up therefrom his handful of the fine flour of the meal offering, and of the oil thereof, and all the frankincense which is upon the meal offering, and shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savor, as the memorial thereof unto Jehovah. And that which is left thereof shall Aaron and his sons eat. It shall be eaten without leaven in a holy place. In the court of the tent of meeting they shall eat it. It shall not be baken with leaven. I have given it as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy as the sign offering and as the trespass offering. Every male among the children of Aaron shall eat of it, as his portion forever throughout your generations, from the offerings of Jehovah made by fire. Whosoever toucheth them shall be holy. And Jehovah spake unto Moses, saying, This is the oblation of Aaron and of his sons, which they shall offer unto Jehovah in the day when he is anointed, the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a meal offering perpetually, half of it in the morning, and half thereof in the evening. On a baking pan it shall be made with oil. When it is soaked, thou shalt bring it in. In baken pieces shalt thou offer the meal offering for a sweet savor unto Jehovah. And the anointed priest that shall be in his stead from among his sons shall offer it. By a statute forever it shall be wholly burnt unto Jehovah. And every meal offering of the priest shall be wholly burnt. It shall not be eaten, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the law of the sign offering. In the place where the burnt offering is killed, shall the sign offering be killed before Jehovah. It is most holy. The priest that offereth it for sin shall eat it, in the court of the tent of meeting. Whatsoever shall touch the flesh thereof shall be holy. And when there is sprinkled of the blood thereof upon any garment, thou shalt wash that whereon it was sprinkled in a holy place. But the earthen vessel wherein it is boiled shall be broken, and if it be boiled in a brazen vessel, it shall be scoured and rinsed in water. Every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It is most holy. And no sin offering, whereof any of the blood is brought into the tent of meeting to make atonement in the holy place, shall be eaten. It shall be burnt with fire.